Beacon, are we in the house? Say yeah. All right, it's good to see all of you. Good to see your face in the place. I'm probably a little loud. I know I'm getting some feedback. My apologies. I'm sorry. I'm an excited person. I don't talk with a low tone. But it is good to see you. I am Reverend Jay. Let me back up some. Y'all can hear me probably better that way. I don't need to eat the mic. And I am Reverend Dr. J. Exodus Hooper, kind of like protege, not the regular J, okay? 5'7", brown skin, hair to my shoulders, burgundy with black sleeves, got a little lift, so I'm probably a little bit higher than 5'7". But yeah, I'm here to be of service to you. And really glad to welcome you today. We have a few announcements. First announcement is that we have Pablo back. Hey! That's what we do, that's what we do. And so we also have the Plainfield Advisory Group to meet today, which is at 12:30 to 2 p.m., 12:30 to 2 p.m. in the library, okay? The other thing is, I didn't get a chance to say this in the morning, but I tell you, I'm excited to hear about it. It's one of my favorite words attached, which is the Climate Justice Revival. Everybody say Climate Justice Revival. Climate Justice Revival. Look, that is happening September 29th. So I don't want you to miss out on anything like a revival for the climate, okay? So let's not, I want y'all to have a good old time. That starts at 12 and goes from 12 to 5:30, okay? So make sure that you're there for that. I also want to invite you, if you have not, if you get chance after service, or if you have had chance earlier, visit the Harvest Delight table right outside the sanctuary. You can purchase a ticket, donate items, some of your time, and that is happening for November 2nd is the event, okay? November 2nd. The other thing that I want you to consider is making sure that if you are new to the space, if you are just coming to visit for the first time and you want to be a little bit more connected, find out what we do, how to breathe us in, you know, that kind of perfume, it smells good in here kind of thing. Love has a really good perfume, I promise you. What it does is it allows for us to connect with you further. So do me a favor, between 12:30 and 1:30, if you want to get more connected, meet us on the second floor with Chris, our membership director, in room 209. And lastly, today at 5, there's a lot happening. Today at 5, Fall Equinox Celebration is happening, 695 Springfield Avenue. It is a 30-minute service, okay, 30-minute service outdoors, and then we will go ahead and go into a potluck. So I hope that you will join us at all of these festivities. And for those who are joining on the online community, I will just share now, you will not see me for the rest of the service. If you don't see me in this moment, I am going to be online, and I'm going to be hosting and ushering some folk online. So I expect some chats to be kind of, you know, engaged with me, all right? I'm not the silent type on the online platform either, okay? So if y'all getting it here, you can imagine what they're gonna get online. You better warn them. But I'm excited to be here with you. I hope that you're excited to see each other. And I turn this portion over to our wonderful musician.
Good morning. My name is Misa Iwama, and I'm the Director of Music Ministry. So happy to be here with you today with John O'Neill on piano. Thanks, as always, John. With the Beacon Adult Choir, which always brings so much energy and spirit, and we're happy that you brought your beautiful voices. And I also want to introduce Dr. Tammy Petty, who some of you have already heard in previous services. She's been a soloist, but Tammy is also a very, very well-known choral conductor. So she's going to be our guest song leader and conductor today. Tammy and I have worked together hundreds, perhaps even more than 1,000 times, and I learned from her every single time. It's funny because she also knows Reverend Jay from a previous place, and now John and Tammy have been working together. So it's so nice that we're all here together at Beacon. So Tammy.
2, 3. There we go. It's so nice to be with you. As John plays, I'm going to do the Beacon thing. I'm going to tell you what I look like for those of you who are wanting to know. I am about 5'5". I used to be 5'6". I'm shrinking. I have brown hair that's turning gray. I have a white short sleeve shirt on with black stripes and black pants. And the way I describe my body is I say, I enjoy desserts. And my pronouns are her and she, like the chocolate. So I invite you to rise in every way possible in spirit, body, and we're going to sing Do You Hear, which is hymn 112. Here we go. 1, 2. Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, do you hear, in the heights, in the plain, in the vale, on the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear, do you hear? Through the roar, through the rush, through the throng, through the crush, do you hear in the hush of your soul, of your soul? Hear the cry, fear won't still, hear the heart's call to will, hear a sigh, a startling trill in your soul, in your soul. From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear, do you hear? All the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs, all the prayers, they are yours, mine and theirs. Do you hear, do you hear? Beautiful, welcome, please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Mary Early Zald, and I'm the affiliated community minister for this congregation, but this morning I am serving as your worship associate. I am a petite and short woman. My skin is pale, light-skinned. I have short, curly hair, and today I'm wearing a powdery pink shirt. My pronouns are she and they. I'm she and her. I'm not sure if I said that. Okay, so we're going to be lighting the chalice today with these words from Sharon Wiley. The hours of day and night are in balance. In honor of earth-centered traditions that celebrate this time of year, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself. The cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the balance we seek in our lives, the balance we seek in our hearts, the balance we seek in our world. May we worship together today.
I hate to turn down the opportunity to hear Tammy sing. Good morning. Can you hear me in the back? My name is Maureen Irwin, and I'm part of the chaplain team here at Beacon, and that's designated by this maroon scarf. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm wearing an autumn-colored sweater in honor of the equinox. This month, as a congregation and in our community groups, we're examining the theme of an invitation: how we live deeper into the dimensions of being a human being. I'd like to share a view of that from my 3.5-year-old grandson. On Wednesday, he slammed the kitchen door. The header from the blind came crashing down. He froze in position and stared at me. This wasn't the first, the third, or the fifth time this is happening. And he yelled in frustration, "Why do I keep doing that?" Tears came to my eyes. Such awareness. How many of us at 30, 40, 70, 80 keep doing the things we do and don't stop to realize we just keep doing the same old thing? Roshi Rosetto, in Waking Up to What You Do, shares the training of a trapeze artist. There's something called the dead spot. It's the place between the swings. When the artist just hangs at point zero before either going back or grabbing the next swing. It's the opportunity for change and creativity. The events of life offer us all types of dead spots. If we become aware of them, we can choose to allow ourselves to be suspended in midair, to be prepared to work in that split second, to let go of our habitual way of being, and be open to know ourselves in a way that leaves us open and vulnerable to respond just a little bit differently, to bring whatever life brings our way. And so this morning, I'd like to extend an invitation from our chaplain group. We are trained to be non-judgmental listeners with the highest level of confidentiality. In sharing your story or that pain in your heart, you may find that just in telling your story once again, you may find an expansion point where you can see and choose to live your life just a bit differently and more fully than the moment before. If you'd like to speak to a chaplain, please speak to me, any chaplain, or our ministry team. Chaplains also extend the spiritual care of our community by facilitating the weekly ritual of candle lighting. Today we light a candle in remembrance for Charlotte Gilson, whose memorial was yesterday. And we light a candle of deep concern and fervent hope for resolution with the continuing and expanding conflict in Israel, Palestine, and Lebanon. Please come forward here in the sanctuary or in your home to light a candle for these and for all of the joys and sorrows in your own heart.
Isn't that a beautiful sight? To take in that light. Would you rise with me in any way possible? We're going to sing All My Memories of Love on page 336, all 3 verses. All my memories of love hang upon the stars. All the souls I've lost to tears now the autumn jars. And the air around me here thickens with their song. Sing again their nameless tunes, sing again and strong. Willows in September touch the water clear, set among the rushes tall of the flowing year. Rising up from sunlight past comes the shadowed sigh, running toward me silently, love to fortify. Many are the graceful hearts hung upon the tree, and it seems there's room for mine on these branches free. And the sky above the tree, whether wet or bright, is my ease and comforting, my good news and light. Thank you.
Hello, Beacon, and good morning. I'm your interim minister, Pablo Vasquez, and it's my pleasure to be back here again, of course. I am also 5'7", like the good Reverend Jay. I have long, curly, black-brownish hair, caramel complexion. I'm wearing a flowery shirt despite the season. And it is my pleasure to be with you today. Now I'm going to lead you through a meditation. So if you would please take a deep breath in and a strong breath out. Now, if you're willing and able, close your eyes. Bring yourself to a comfortable position and be here with me. Take this moment to pause and balance yourself in your center, in the center of all hearts, between this, the longest and shortest days. This is the equinox. The wheel of the year turns and turns again. Feel how the air has cooled around you. Remember how the days have shortened, how the sun seems to weaken, barely clearing the horizon after rising before beginning its descent. This is now our opportunity in this season and now to pause, to be balanced, to once again breathe in and breathe out. Feel this present moment. This very moment, this present moment, is all that we're ever guaranteed. Like the sun moving towards the shortest day, each moment arises and is gone before we know it. This is a time to pause and consider. As we enter this season, one of contemplation, of decisions, of reflection, of increasing darkness, of lying fallow, of dormancy, this is the season of letting go, of lightening burdens as well, of preparing for a long period of being still and going deep. Pause again and consider. Breathe in and breathe out. These binaries, in and out, dark and light, hot and cold, chaos and order. Neither extreme is inherently good or bad. It's all a matter of balance, of honoring the spectrum for which binaries mark the endpoints. Today we mark the midpoint between summer and winter solstice, a time to seek balance and be free. Now breathe in one last time and breathe out with me. Thank you, Beacon. And now a testimony from Laura Farmer.
Good morning, Beacon. I'm Carol Satchel from your social justice team. I'm about 5'6". I've got my Justice Sotomayor t-shirt on. And I'm here today to introduce Laura Farmer from Reclaim Our Vote. This week and next week's undesignated donations from the plate will be going to Reclaim Our Vote. We had an incredible turnout for the morning service, and we are running a little bit low on postcards, but if you would like to sign up to fill out packets of postcards, let me know how many you want. I'll be sitting right outside with our social justice porch goose dressed up as Lady Liberty.
Good morning. I'm Laura Farmer. I'm 5'6". I have long, dark, curly hair, and I'm wearing a green and white dress, and my pronouns are she, her. I am so happy to be here today. I'm a volunteer regional organizer with a group called Reclaim Our Vote, which is part of a larger nonprofit called Center for Common Ground. We fight to empower underrepresented voters of color to vote, and we fight voter suppression across a number of states that have a deep and long history of voter suppression. A number of years ago, I was speaking with a friend of mine who was actually running for Congress in the suburbs of Atlanta. She was in a swing district, and the first time that she ran, she lost by 800 votes, which was like 0.015% of the voting in that election, and in the face of tremendous voter suppression. She had special voter protection teams that went out and would call her with an update, and she learned the day of the election that a polling station near a historically black college was mysteriously missing all the power cords, for example. She also told me that in the Kemp-Abrams governor race, that year was 2018, that year, Kemp was the Secretary of State overseeing his own election, because he was also running. And that year, somehow 800,000 voters were purged from the voter rolls. The vast majority from minority-dominant district. And what is particularly pernicious about that is that you may have seen the lines in some of these polling stations in Georgia, 3, 4, 5 hours long. And somebody may line up childcare, take time off of work, and go stand in line for hours, and then get to the front of the line only to discover that, unbeknownst to them, they have been purged from the voter rolls. So we are here to fight that, and we obtain lists of people who have been deregistered, and we reach out to people to let them know that they have been deregistered, and that if they want to, they could consider re-registering to vote. We also register new people to vote, and we encourage people to use their power and to get out and vote. We do that through several channels. So postcarding, you may have seen, I don't know if some of the members of this community have already been involved, but we have these multiracial, colorful, inviting postcards that we write. We have handwritten postcards, so it catches the attention of people because it's got a personal touch to it. And we write with the details about local voting places, the dates. We encourage people to early vote because it's far less likely that somebody will be trapped in long lines if they vote early. We also have set up democracy centers, often reaching out to rural voters, voters that are overlooked by both parties, and we're focused on reaching out to voters of color. So, in addition to the postcarding, we also have phone banking and canvassing, and the democracy centers that we've set up help inform people about why their vote matters, and we tap into issues that are important to those local communities. We also work in partnership with the NAACP and other civil rights organizations, as well as voting rights organizations. I'm sure many of you are aware of this, but the level of voter suppression has just really gone through the roof in the last few years, and there's no time like now to get involved in this effort. It's so important. So I am very humbled and honored that your community has chosen to donate some of your collections to our cause, and I'm so grateful. We are also putting together custom kits, so if any of you want to write postcards, I have a campaign right now that's headed to Black women in Florida, the postcards need to be mailed October 1st to 15th. We're doing postcards kits in denominations of 30, so 30, 60, 90, that type of thing. I personally put kits together. If any of you want to sign up, we had such a robust demand in the last service that we already liquidated the supply that I brought, so you guys are awesome. If any of the rest of you would like to write postcards, please come up after the service. Carol will take down your details and how many kits that you want to do, how many postcards, 30 per kit, and I'll put together some custom kits for you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you again for the support, whether it's monetary or writing the postcards. I think that if we all work together, that we will, we can counter this terrible trend. So thank you so much.
And now our morning's offering will be so gratefully received with some wonderful music from our choir.
Thank you, choir. This morning's reading comes from Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lately, I've been reflecting upon these words of Ecclesiastes. When I started sort of all the big changes in my life, I wanted to reflect on the things that were, how should I say, precious to me, to my loved ones, and so forth. And my mother, like any good Catholic, she loved to read the Bible and whatnot. And I remember whenever I would get into different sorts of troubles, she would always quote this very section of Ecclesiastes as a sort of, there's a time for that and that isn't now. But in particular, I've been thinking about the times of things, of changes, of decisions, of choices, of purpose. Some of you may know, but not too long ago, in fact, a month ago, I moved cross-country to Berkeley, California to start my PhD. And It's very strange to look at your life and see it all fit into the back of a moving truck. And it makes you think about all the choices that led you here, and everything, especially the choices of what you've left behind. I'm in Berkeley without my partners, without my family, without my friends, and everything starts anew. And it's fascinating, even though the Bay Area is a land without seasons, it is nonetheless given me time to reflect. Instead of being at my dear friend Tristan's watching horror movies late at night in Texas, or laughing with my partners, or hugging my mother, or what have you, life comes at you differently when you can just sit down and think. And I think that's part of the beauty of the autumn season, too. I don't particularly agree terribly much with the part of the meditation that tells us this is just the time for pause. I think that reflection is an activity. It is an action that we choose to undertake. We have, as conscious beings, the power of choice and the power of free will. And I know there might be some determinists out there who think, free will, that's rubbish. But you have the power of choice to think that. And I'm ever so glad to have this power. But in the words of Uncle Ben in the Spider-Man movies, great power comes great responsibility. And this is a truth. This is a truth. Too often we think of our choices sometimes on a very personal level. Oh, what I say, that's just me. People are just gonna have to get used to that. Or what I do, it's not really gonna affect anyone else. That's their own lives, this is mine. Or even, because we're about to make a big choice here in this country, how I vote, that's not really that important to anyone else. I have my own reasons, my own decisions. I've come to this as an individual, which I think is the wrong distinction to make. Yes, we are proudly individual, sometimes in this country more often than in other countries, but we are also connected with one another. When I am next with you, or even if I'm not here, we'll see, we will all have made a massive choice on both a micro and macro level. And I speak, of course, of the upcoming national, local, and what have you elections. I've run across so many people in my life, and this was all too common in Texas. Why can't we have a drink next to one another even though our politics completely disagree? Why does my vote matter all that much? I don't live in a swing state, Why this, why that? Why should I care about what, a candidate says about immigrants, or what they say about women, or what they say about eternal war in the Middle East? As such, I think it is important that we make the choice to reflect even on those things. There's an importance, and I think there is a, somber joy in, which seems almost oxymoronic, right? A somber joy. But there is a somber joy in looking at important matters and having that privilege to sit down and think about them. Because sometimes, with our 9-to-5s, or, me with a PhD program and an internship and all the other things I stack upon myself, sometimes we just don't think we have the time to sit down and think, to breathe in and breathe out, to meditate, to clear our minds, to focus on what we think is important, and also to reflect on the important things that we may not even be thinking about. if we take that time, we find ourselves, I think, stepping away from this brash, rugged individualism that sometimes defines America way too often, and find ourselves once again in community. How is it that my choices, my decisions, and even my reflections could affect you, or you, or you, me, my loved ones, the earth, the cosmos, everything? There is this great meditation practice that was taught to me by a friend of mine who really loves reading about Zen and Alan Watts and all those other types as well. Critiques aside, I loved this sort of meditation of sometimes just sitting there and thinking, for example, I'll use myself. I am Pablo, but I am Pablo who was given birth to by Beasley Vasquez and Pablo Vasquez. I am Pablo who was born in Panama, and step further away, I am Pablo in the world. I am Pablo in the solar system, so on and so forth, until you don't remove yourself from the equation, but find yourself looking at the full equation. I think we have a difficulty sometimes of doing this, and it's totally fair. We tend to sometimes focus on bringing ourselves our own joys and pleasures, on making the decisions and choices of finding the purpose of what makes us happy, what makes me happy. We don't realize sometimes the hurt that we cause others, that we bring to others, and then we bring sometimes to this world. Many of you have heard me in previous sermons talk about eco-theology and how important it is to care for our beautiful Mother Earth. There's this Hindu guru I was reading about who on the bottom of his sandals had inscribed, "Oh, Mother Earth, forgive me for the pain I cause you with every step." And I think there's something beautiful about that, because even though he knows he's making the choice to trample upon the planet, he knows it's a choice he has to make, But nonetheless, he has reflected so deeply on that choice as to know the harm he is causing, the blessings that Mother Earth is giving back to him by being able to trample upon her. And it's that sort of thinking, I think, that is very important in our world today. Whatever happens, now is the time to actually come together, because while change is scary, thinking about what it takes to bring change can be even scarier. And I know it's been terrifying to me sometimes. I think about whether I should have even started my PhD program to begin with. Whether, if it's right and just to you all to be doing all of that and all of this as well. Whether it's right and just to my partners to overburden myself and not give them the proper time that they deserve. But even then, I'm committing harm. And this goes back to the individual. Because while you may have heard me criticize this very rugged individual concept, if we do not take care of ourselves and reflect upon who we are and what we do, we will never be able to do the same for others. We will never be able to give that love to others. Too often I have seen people basically martyr themselves to help others, and instead what they do is cause others to reflect on their pain. And that pain can spread. It can be infectious, like a virus. We see that out there in this election season. Both sides of the major parties' political equations are so deeply rooted in choices of pain. Sometimes we have to step back and see, why is it that they hate? Why is it their time to hate and not their time to love, like Ecclesiastes says? Why is it their time to gather stones and not to put them away. When we start asking ourselves these questions and realize what time it is for us and what time it is for them, then we begin to want to create a time where we instead all come together, where instead it's not a time for war, it's a time for peace. It's a time for building. It's a time to be in beloved community. And it's probably strange to some of you all to hear me express such a somber tone in a sermon. I'm used to telling jokes and telling personal anecdotes and losing track of the time. But nonetheless, I think it's very important, and I have lost track of the time. But I think what's at core to my message is take that time in this season, this in-between land, as so many people like to view autumn, to reflect, to realize that we are making active choices, not just at a macro level, whether it's elections, local, national, what have you, or even in moving to a new home for Beacon, or what we choose to do with our time coming up this winter as well, but also on a micro level. Someone came up to me after the last service and told me, I've been doing this exceedingly minor thing, and now you've caused me to reflect on how much time I could get back if I stopped doing that. How much time I could have to hug someone else, to share my love, to be there in community and family with others. And I think that's a wonderful thing, because it starts with us. It starts with the decisions we make and the purpose we choose to take in this time and all others. So I hope in this season you make it into a season of hope and beloved community and love, and make this into a time for peace, a time for love, a time to put the stones away so that everyone else can join that time as well. Thank you.
We're going to sing a final song together from the famous hymnologist, Pete Seeger. You may know Turn, Turn, Turn. Rise in every way possible. You have a service leaflet that has your words on there. Here we go. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born. A time to be born. A time to die. A time to plant. A time to reap. A time to kill. A time to heal. A time to laugh. A time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up. A time to build up. A time to break. A time to dance. A time to mourn. A time to cast away stones. A time to gather stones together. You sing. A time to gain, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to mend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, stay rising if you can.
Well, actually, before we hold hands together as we do in this lovely community, let's give a round of applause to our wonderful musicians, our chorus, and especially to Tammy Petty here. Thank you so much. Especially with that last song that really rounds up my sermon well, don't you think? All right, let's hold hands together in beloved community. Feel that heartbeat between one another, that warmth that you bring to one another. And here we go. May you go out into this season of change, of reflection, of decisions, and have the time to reflect on every single one of them. May you be blessed with the right choices, a beautiful time. May you enjoy the cooling weather, the lessening days. I know I will. And may you always have a chance to breathe in and breathe out and love one another. Thank you.